Hey guys, welcome to the return of Ask RCR. We took about a month off just because we've been swamped. Yeah, you can submit questions on the subreddit r/regular car reviews. Also, by the time you're watching this, the RCR album, Tracklist Bro, should be out on Bandcamp. The address is theromanrcr.bandcamp.com. You can go download it there, buy the whole album or just get some of the tracks. Whichever. That'd be great. But I'm the Roman. This is Mr. Regular.
Hello.
And question number 1. All right. What city, state, or region gives you the most car submissions? Are there any you haven't gotten to visit that you're still looking forward to?
Cincinnati, Ohio. There's a lot of cars in the Cincinnati, Columbus area. A lot of Northern Virginia. A lot of Richmond, which is weird because Richmond has the most stringent speeding laws, where 20 over is considered reckless driving, and I think you lose your license immediately. I mean, Virginia is where Patrick George from Jalopnik spent 3 days in the metal clink for speeding. There's a whole Jalopnik article about it, which is weird that for the state that hates cars the most, I don't know which is worse, California or Virginia. Well, I guess California isn't that bad. They kind of understand it, and they have a more diverse car culture, especially in Southern California. I'll say Virginia's worst. It's the worst state for being a car enthusiast.
Next question. What is your favorite Corvette generation of those you have driven so far?
Ooh, from a styling standpoint, it's the C4 because that was the car that existed when I was a little kid. Like, when I think of Corvette, I think of a C4. I have never driven a C1 or a C2. If I would have a Corvette right now, it would be either a C6 or a C7. Matt Ferreira said very poignantly, the best Corvette is always the newest Corvette. So, and the C7 is great. I think the C6 or really, really clean C5 is your best bang for your buck. You just want a 2-seater with a V8 and an LS. You could do a hell of a lot worse than a Corvette. If I had to buy one, I'd probably buy a C6 base model and bargain the hell out of the owner. Like, man, do you think you can get a C6 for under 20? I'll bet you could.
You gotta Shark Tank the price down.
Yeah.
Or just and
I'm not even talking Grand Sport or Zeo, whatever. I'm talking just base C6. Anyway.
Is it more enjoyable to review a car you hate or a car you love? The Jetta and the original DMC-12 reviews are like opposite ends of the spectrum.
I think when a car you go into it already loving, when you have so much reverence for the car, sometimes it could cloud your judgment. And it's neat when I get a car that I expected to hate and ended up loving. I think the Honda Accord wagon stick shift was one that I expected this thing to be just a junk, and it wasn't. That was one of the more memorable cars. I think it was either this season or last. That, wow, this is a car you can drive at 10 tenths all the time. It's always fun. So which is more fun? A car that I really detest? I suppose it's easier to review a car if you hate it and there's no redeeming qualities. It certainly is easier to write. It's easier to write a slam than it is a well-balanced page.
Yeah, the hard ones are the ones that are riding the middle. And so it's basically split into two categories. You get a better, more poignant lines out of a car that you like. So, you get those lines, the feels or whatever, at the end of it. and that's where you get like the more poignant endings. And so I like writing those, or at least like hearing those when you write them. But the from a joke standpoint, it's way easier to review a car you hate. Yeah. So yeah.
You just double down. You just throw one-liners after one-liners after one-liners.
Yeah.
And then that's good stuff.
Speaking of the Honda Accord wagon review, you mentioned that it's in your top 10 most fun cars ever driven. What are some other cars on your list?
Well, let's. Was it more specific than that?
Nah.
No. What did you? What was the best car you ever drove? Your 10 best high fidelity lists.
Yeah.
Top 10. It's kind of like, okay, like best cars under a certain price point. I mean, because you're talking the best car you've ever driven, it's going to be the Volkswagen Phaeton.
Well, he says the most fun cars.
Oh, okay. I thought we were in Bestville.
Yeah.
The most fun cars. Fun car all the time. Now we get to now we get to define fun. See, for me, fun is always a little bit of danger involved with it. Like a bit of, what's going to happen next? So, even though it was never a full review, Matt Happel's LS Colorado, a Turbo LS Colorado, that thing's fun all the time because it's one gigantic, shit. There's, of course, the MR2. All generations of those are fun. I mean, really cheap mid-engine car. Point to a problem and tell me why it matters. The CRX. Notice I'm going with all small cars with little engines that rev like crazy. Of course, I'm only telling you my own tastes. Which is odd because we have a Ford Falcon that's not a high revving engine. It's a large displacement. Well, by the standards of the stuff we drive around here, 5 liters is large displacement. Of course, it goes much higher than that. I've never driven a Viper. That's something I want to. And Bruce Henn has one. He said I could drive it, but he's busy as a bee, so who knows when. And also, his Viper is like showroom pristine. I'd be more comfortable driving DeMuros because it's seen some city driving. I'm not going to be as paranoid as nicking the tiniest thing on it.
Yeah.
And I still haven't answered your question about 10 best most fun driving cars.
You just mentioned like what are some of the other ones on there. You don't have to go the whole 10.
I keep coming back to the Lotus Elise that we did way back in the day. That was fun because that was motorcycle quick. Again, Lotus Elise is what? Still a Toyota engine, still revving like crazy.
Yeah, I feel if you go back and look at the Christmas reviews, you get some of the more loosey-goosey, tiny bit of danger cars.
Again, I'm going small Japanese, small displacement, high revving motors. And I'm trying to come up with cars that fit that isn't Miata is always the answer. The next question.
You've referenced Pinkerton more than a few times in your videos. Would you give us your thoughts or maybe a little analysis on it?
Pinkerton is an album I didn't discover until college, even though that's what, 90s?
Yeah, I think.
And I was in college early 2000s. Pinkerton is a great album that describes the frustration of trying to talk to girls and fit in with other social circles. It's almost show me a better teenage angst, or even late teenage or early 20s college angst album, and I'm all ears, man. In the garage, In the garage, I am sane in the garage. Now I'm trying to remember lyrics from Pinkerton songs. It encapsulates the feeling that the world is playing a game according to rules that you were never told.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody seems to be sailing along or riding on a train, and everybody else in your life at that age appears to know exactly what to do, what to say, how to stand, how to interact with each other, and they're all on a glorious train riding into a sunset, and there's a banner above them that says success. And you're not on that train. You're running alongside the tracks, and you don't know how to get on it. Everybody's having fun but you. And the best you can do is pretend to be them. You can mimic their actions. Maybe as far as you can mimic their style of dress. Try to copy their speech, and hoping that if you look, sound, and talk like a successful peer or an attractive peer, that you too will then be that thing, and it'll come to you. But it doesn't, because you're on a different planet, and everyone else is speaking the same language, but you have a feeling that the words mean different things. And you're at a conversation at a bowling alley, and they're talking about people that you don't know, but you pretend to know them so you can stay in the conversation, but you feel yourself getting elbowed out of it, and you don't know what to do. That's Pinkerton. The feeling of alienation in small Rust Belt towns in Pennsylvania. That's Pinkerton. An overcast sky like we have today. Pinkerton makes you feel okay for being alone. There you go. How's that for improvised review of Weezer's Pinkerton album?
Damn. When are you coming to New Zealand?
It's okay.
Oh, all right.
There is plans for regular car reviews to come to New Zealand and a little bit in Australia in February 2018. We don't have specific dates yet. We'll be working, hopefully, we're good friends with Caswell Parker and Andrew Lamb from Automation. They had a similar arrangement with the Matt Farah and the Smoking Tire when they went to New Zealand. It might have been 2 years ago. And Automation, the game is moving along. It's a very small software company. And it'll probably be a similar arrangement that the Smoking Tire had, where they help out with the trip, and in exchange we promote the game, which is a very unique game. It's a total nerd out time vampire. It's as much as a time vampire as Age of Empires 2 can be, and that's a good thing. It's great on sick days, or days when you're just sick of work or school.
Yeah. That flight is gonna suck, though.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's like a day in a tin tube.
Yeah.
Because to get to New Zealand from Pennsylvania, like, globe. We are here. New Zealand is here.
It's all the way down there.
It's here. It's all. How many hemispheres must we go through? All of them.
We're so far off that we're being covered by the metal.
We're there. You're here. So, in order to get there, First, you have to go to LA. That's 5 hours. Now, of course, right, 21st century problems. It's going to take a day to get down to the other side of the planet. It's like Louis C.K.'s bit about going out west. Yeah.
I thought you meant like the airplane thing of, people saying amazing when you really talking about airplanes. You're sitting in a chair in the sky.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. What was Louis C.K.'s bit? Like, people would die along the way. It'd be a whole different group of people by the time you get there. The people will be born and die, the Oregon Trail. So then you get there, and I think there is nonstop from LAX to Auckland, which is just ocean. Yep. Now, of course, if we're here, people would crucify us if we don't. Look, you came all this way. Can't you go right over to Sydney? And the answer is, sure. Even if automation isn't going to pay for it, I'd definitely pay for it.
Yeah.
It's like, we're there. You came all the way to friggin' Wellington. You're not just going to go over to Sydney.
And also, it's a little something extra in the sense that in New Zealand it's going to be work. Yeah. And then Australia, I mean, I don't know necessarily
we don't have an itinerary.
Like, we have nothing planned. We just know that we have offers, standing offers. And
like, we got, and we have plenty of people helping out. We got, Caswell, Andrew, maybe... brain.
Marty and Moog.
They're not New Zealand.
No, I know, but I mean, Australia. Yeah.
Complete word. Why can't I think of a Juliet Johnson? There we go. All you have to do is not think of it.
Yeah.
And Bryce, maybe them. Depending, because they have sheep, and go to New Zealand. Review a sheep. Shep. They have horses too, but horses freak me hell out. They're freaking. They were over 1,000 pounds, and their dicks are the size of softball bats, and they're panicky animals. Of course, you've ridden a horse, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, not recently, but
okay.
I've ridden one before. So, I mean, they're, panicky, but not terrible or anything. Now, granted, it's in a very controlled environment, so I'm not Lee Van Cleefing my way through,
Lee Van Cleef.
Yeah.
Nice reference.
Yeah. But still, I can understand the anxiety around a horse. Like, being very careful walking around back of them because just this tiniest thing, and suddenly, like, oops.
Oops, I'm a paraplegic.
Yeah,
I've seen those videos of horses kicking things on my friend.
Yeah.
It's like a shotgun.
Yeah. Or that video of, the nuclear testing where the house just gets blown away.
Yeah.
Yeah, but... It's hard to tell from your comments, but are you a fan of Initial D?
I liked it when I was 23. It's it's an anime. It's not real life, but I respect it in that it's part of the zeitgeist. Do I watch it now? No. It's pretty silly cartoon, and I've never read the comic book. But if it wasn't for that, the AE86 wouldn't... It'd be just another curious 80s Toyota thing. Probably less beloved than the S13. So... I like Initial D for what it was able to do in the same way that I respect Fast and the Furious for what it's been able to do for car culture. Both are pure works of fiction, have very little basis in reality, but it's media, it's movies. You gonna crucify someone for taking artistic license? I mean, you want realism. It's Gran Turismo 1. I mean, glancing notwithstanding, but that's a boring game to watch. That's a legit racing game. The only racing game I think that did it well was Hard Driving, which is like 89. A grossly complex arcade game, but based in real world physics, like with force feedback in the late 80s. Man, if I was baller, I'd get one of those cabinets. It's like the size of a... Man, that cabinet is like the size of a phone booth laying on its side. It's huge. I mean, like those huge three cathode ray tubes.
Damn.
One for the view out the windshield, and two for a little bit on either side of the windshield. It has a working clutch. Well, working, like a very good clutch. It's a 4-speed manual. You can do it in automatic. And you have to follow signs, and it's all that super, super blocky, very early, it's in 3D. But show me a better physics engine that was programmed on those cards, man. That's a good game. I got away from Initial D, didn't I? Yeah, shows you how much I think of it.
Well, yeah. You ever see an Initial D cabinet?
There's one at Round 1 in the Exton Square Mall at the Round 1 arcade. I played that, and they either nerf or juice every single car so they're all competitive. I was watching some guys play it. Maybe they were in a different mode, but there's one guy in a Miata and another guy in a Prius, and they're both equally competitive on a mountain road, right? All right. But what was your impressions of the cabinet?
I mean, it was kind of didn't really strike me as being any more complex or anything than your average racing cabinet. Now, granted, I don't play.
Yeah, it looked like Ridge Racer.
Yeah, basically. You climb in, and basically everyone has to be on a level playing field for the most part, but the cars are simply reskinned versions of... It's like it doesn't even really matter what car you're driving.
No, you don't.
It's style. Like it's the appearance of whatever it is. It's like, oh, I want to be driving a Miata, so you pick the Miata, but you're not getting the Miata engine or the handling or anything like that. You're just getting a car that looks like a car that you'd maybe want to drive.
Right. Yeah.
Do you think Americans will ever make a good sports car in the low price range market, a la the MX-5, Fiat 124, Abarth, Boxster, Z4, etc.?
So now we're talking about a car that's rear-wheel drive? Because the Fiesta ST is knocking on your door and wants words. That's really like a Mazda 2 cooperation. It's really British. America can't... That's not our job, man. Our job, American manufacturers that's not what we do well. Why are you asking the linebacker to take to be a ballerina? Should we do? Well, we did kind of in the 80s. There was the Fiero. There was now Mopar was making little turbocharged engines. I think they called it the Charger. There was also the Rampage. Of course, that's a light truck, isn't it? Right? It's not really a roadster. When Americans try to do roadsters, you get the Plymouth Prowler. Or they cut the roof off of a PT Cruiser. They made the PT Cruiser convertible. Or the LeBaron convertible. But none of these are little fun sports cars. It would just be sunk cost to do it. And then forever you'd compare it against the Miata. I mean, why? what's in it financially?
I mean, you're looking for a sort of boutique version of what they're doing overseas.
Right.
And what are you really getting out of it except, you're going to end up with the same problem that the Insight had, which was it almost comes out as like a loss leader to test the market. You craft these very aerodynamic but expensive bodies, and maybe you put in a pricey engine or anything to sort of see if the American market can sustain a sort of American-made sports car in the same mold as...
Right. All right, so say you take the... What's Chevy calling their turbocharged engines? I forget. They have some little 4-cylinders that are okay. Like, I think the Chevy Spark Turbo or something like that. Or Chevy Sonic Turbo. Some people have the Chevy Sonic Turbos. They like them. Okay, could you spin that engine longitudinally and build a car around that? Sure. Okay, now how are you going to tell me whatever General Motors makes in that is going to be better than a Miata? And then the second you do that, people are going to go, well, why isn't there LS in that? Because that's what you do with Miatas anyway, or you put a Coyote motor in it. Look, Americans make big V8s and we do it pretty damn well. So why not keep doing that? There needs to be a movie reference or something. Do you remember that Captain America movie? Like way back in the 80s. I forget.
Oh, the one with J.D. Salinger's kid?
That was it?
Well, I mean, there was one with J.D.
And Red
Salinger.
Skull was like Italian or something like that?
Oh, I think that's the one with Reb Brown, where Captain America, he like rides a motorcycle. And
something like that. I remember it was on TV back in the day. And like on midday cable after the cartoons. It's when someone's trying to bill something as something it isn't. There's a name for that. Yeah. Against type. Yeah, okay. Yeah. It's America being cast against type. It doesn't work.
Yeah, it's Adam Sandler and Punch Drunk Love. Oh, except that was actually a good movie. Yeah. I don't know. Who's a comedic actor who just fails at drama? I don't know. It's like Corey Feldman doing music. It's just don't.
Keanu Reeves playing bass guitar in this band.
Yeah.
There's a band that he's in, or was in.
Yeah, something dog.
I don't know.
But
again, I guess he can play. I mean, who am I to say it's not a good... Because he's a big car guy, too. And he's big into motorcycles.
Oh, big, yeah.
Big bike guy. So... But I guess, well, that's not... I mean, I guess when you get to that point, you can do anything you want. This isn't a good analogy to cars, is it?
Well, I mean, it's along the same principle of don't go outside your wheelhouse, Yeah,
it's... Now I need to find out a good reference.
Okay, so it's like Burger King for a while now. I didn't eat there at the time, and actually I haven't been to Burger King in years. It's been like a decade since I've eaten at Burger King, but because I remember the last time it would have been like almost in grad school, college. But at the time they were making tacos at Burger King.
When was this?
This was around, I want to say 2007, 2008 ish.
All right.
And like, why would you make tacos? You're Burger King. Don't.
It has the name of the food that you do on the sign. Yeah.
Yeah. Why would you? And the thing is that shit.
Phone's ringing.
Yeah. No. Not anymore. It would be right near Taco Bell. It's like if you want terrible, tacos that will give you necrotic bowel, then Taco Bell, it's drunk food. There's nothing in the world that's better than Taco Bell when you're wasted.
You get the machine gun shits.
Yeah.
I didn't get that. I got that from AVE. My favorite AVE video is the battery powered coffee maker.
Oh, I thought you were saying AVE gave you the machine gun shits. I'm just like, what that? But
that's your asshole choosing.
But yeah, that's the thing of it's the equivalent of Burger King making tacos. Of you're not going to do it better than Taco Bell, and you're also not going to do it better than the friggin' food truck that's down the street that's actually making the real But
anyway, so General Motors, keep making V8s. We'll keep buying them. Why don't American car companies make small engines? Because you have the Miata. They're doing it well. How hard would you have to try to break into that market, and then you'll be always compared to the Star? So, meh.
Last question is actually one for me, so I'm going to tackle it really fast just because I don't know how many people are going to identify with this, but I actually have gotten messages about this before. And anyway, long story short, Mr. Roman, who is your favorite Survivor contestant ever? Which it's one of those things where Survivor was a show that I had been trying to get on for like 4 years, like before RCR, but it's one of those shows where like I know I can do this show. Like it's the idea behind it of it's a social game. I love the social aspect of it and the politicking. But to be more direct, I don't know. My favorite contestant is Sandra Diaz Twine, who recently played in this season, just because she's Puerto Rican like me. She's the only 2-time winner, and I just kind of love the way that she controls conversations and sort of steers things in her general direction, and also the whole principle of her game, which is anybody but me. The idea that you can get people to follow along in your alliance, or that you can sort of attach onto alliances and sort of play this game of Frogger on the principle that as long as my name isn't the one being written down, and then she'll make it to the end and people don't see it as, they realize kind of how they've gotten played in a way. Or maybe she makes it to the end with somebody who's not really that likable. Now, you could say that about both times that she won, that it was a path of least resistance, but I mean, you don't win twice by accident. I always feel like Survivor's the only bulletproof game in that I don't think you can win by a fluke. If you get to the end and you can't get people to vote for you, then there was something wrong with your game. But if you make it to the end, even if you make it so that you're at the end with someone who's not likable, then that's part of your game too. It's not that you were simply the choice, the least hated choice. It's that you made it so that you were sitting at the end with somebody who maybe wasn't that appealing to the jury. Is that your strategy if you were on it? Yeah.
Or do you want to talk about like Roman's Survivor strategy?
No, that would be my Survivor strategy of as long as it's not me, which is fine because okay, I'm not going to be useful in the tribal portion where we're, a team and we're doing challenges together and everybody has to pull their own weight. But once we get to the merge and it becomes an individual game, like nobody's going to vote me out. I'm not a threat. Like, what am I going to be doing? But the whole idea is that my strategy, it's an under the radar game. That and it's just that would be the game. And that part of my strategy is the big thing on a show like this is, I'm not here to make friends, but what I propose is what if you were there to make friends? And so I would just, what's wrong with being everybody's buddy? Like, yeah, you can't, eventually you're going to have to vote them out, but if they have a base level of fondness for you, there's no way that can't help you, people should be, if they have to vote you out, people should be upset about having to do it, or because at the very least, if you're a likable and charismatic on-screen personality, which I'm not saying I would be because but then you get invited back for a second playthrough, because you're a fan favorite or something, and all these other things. And the big thing about it is that you get to no matter where you finish in the game, you get money. So if you come in last place, you still get like 12 grand for the experience, which I mean, we should both sign up but pretend we don't know each other. I mean, they would take you, I think. Or if they did like another Blood versus Water season where it's people playing against family members or friends or whatever, that'd be great. Just because, I mean, you'd be the more athletic person, and, I'd be kind of the one who's, engineering all the other stuff, which is not to say that you can't do that too, but it's just one of those things of, my strength is not in challenges, unless it's one of those food challenges where they sit you in front of it and they reveal something gross that you have to finish eating before the other person, in which case I could just like hold my nose just down whatever, and it'll be done. But but other favorites, I love Rob Cesternino. He was great in Amazon. Stephen Fishback, great in Tocantins. So basically the Survivor know-it-alls. Kim Spradlin played one of the best games ever in One World. Chris Doherty in Vanuatu, which was the first Battle of the Sexes season. He was like the one guy left with like 9 women and somehow managed to win. Brian Heidick.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, it was really, I mean, because he basically played the whole game of telephone of, so-and-so said this, so-and-so, and just let the magic happen. That, and he gave the best jury performance ever. He told the jury exactly everything that they wanted to hear. But yeah, the Brian Heidick, who won Thailand, who was one of the biggest dicks to ever play the game, but he had a nearly flawless game. Earl Cole, who won Fiji, he was great. And Jonathan Penner, who hasn't won, but I just like his personality. And so, yeah. Sorry, I'm like obsessed with Survivor. It's my favorite show on television. I don't mess with any other reality shows, really. It's just a wonderful sort of, I don't know, it's like sports to me, the way that people get with sports. I get that way with Survivor. It's like, oh, it's the season, man. But and you get it twice a year. It's great. But yeah. And that's it for this week.
Before we go, I have 2 New Zealand goodies that I have to give you. 3 New Zealand goodies before we go. So you'll probably have to cut right here because I have to get up and then go.
Worries. Yeah.
These are from Andrew Lamb and Caswell Parker from Automation. I'm sorry, Juliet, I ate all the stuff from your New Zealand box. But this is an Automation shirt.
Ooh.
Yep.
Swag.
Yep.
Oh, wait. There we go.
They put it on both sides, which means when you put it on, I ripped the tag off of mine, so now when I put it on, it becomes a USB stick in that it's in a super position. It's both when I put mine on, because I ripped the tag off. It's both forwards and backwards until you put it on 3 times. Yeah, it's like no. There it is.
Yeah.
The USB thing. And these are some goodies. Those are a type of white chocolate bars. Those are sort of a hard candy. They sort of taste like, well, again, they don't taste like any. We have very little reference points for it.
Wait.
I forget what they're called.
Flavor. I know. It's good. I don't know. I imagine it's what the color green tastes like. I think we, in elementary school, for the fundraiser, they used to have candies that tasted just like this. It's nice.
And the other ones in there, they call bars slabs. It's white chocolate, but inside they feel like Pop Rocks. And it has the consistency of a crackle bar.
So it's kind of like a rice.
Yeah, but as you eat it, you get like poppiness going on, like Pop Rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like a carbonated chocolate bar.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
The automation people.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, normally you end this, but you got your mouth full. That's the Roman. I'm Mr. Regular, and thank you for watching Ask RCR.